Good evening, my name is Shinigami Moroku, and welcome back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. Tonight I'll be taking on Xander's Abyssal-difficulty map. Tonight's guests, once again, are Kangas, King of Gallia, running Swap in his support slot, Ether in his special slot, and Fierce Stance, 3 especially, in his seal slot. Now obviously I have to run this because unfortunately my Kangas suffers from a flaw in that particular stat. On the plus side, thankfully his res is his buff stat, so he actually has an easier time with, his primary job, which is to tank magic units, as well as, archers and stuff like that. Joining him once again is Prince Rayson. Guidance once again in his seal slot, and obviously Wings of Mercy, but that's, he's actually not going to be using it. Thankfully, he actually doesn't need it. Our special guests tonight are Lucas, who's going to be running Fortress Defense, obviously increase his tanking ability. Lunge and Threaten Defense, as well as his Threaten Offense or Attack in his seal slot, are actually going to, come into fair play here in the upcoming battle, as well as Swap. And finally, Brave Elwood. I actually gave him Astra for the Rocker Sieges, but, it actually works fairly well still, so I just haven't really dropped it. His biggest contribution will be his Chill Attack in his seal slot, as well as his, actually his primary ability, which is Rally Attack Defense in his support slot, and Attack Speed Ruse. Those debuffs will come in very handy in the upcoming match. We know. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this started. Get everyone into position. Now, obviously, I want to get Kangas here into a specific position to pull these guys, into attack without allowing Xander to try and take a bite out of him. Now, if you hadn't noticed, the Cavalier is also running Panic Ploy. Unfortunately, even his base 69 HP is pretty much unreachable. Technically, if you had a plus 10 Arden with HP plus 5 in his A and seal slot, you could do it, but, honestly, who's going to do that, right? Of course, Xander's, you're never going to match his. And that's one of the reasons why I actually don't like running blue buffs in this particular matchup. Fortunately, I actually have a way around it. Now, yes, I am buffing Lucas, but it's more to debuff Xander. He really is one of my favorite characters from Path of Radiance. He's this old grizzled warrior, but he's still, he still commands power and respect, Now, obviously, with him using Swap here, it actually puts me in a rather difficult position, because both of these enemies run Ignis in their special slot, and if either one of them really was to attack Kangas, especially with his unbuffed 37 defense, you know, he simply would not be able to take it. So what I figured out how to do, and this is why I put lunge here. It allows me to swap in here and take this guy out, you know, moving him away from Xander. And you'll see why here in a second. Now, you may think I'm in trouble, and yeah, I would be normally, but fortunately, Elwood, you know, even with just his base kit, you know, because thankfully the Lance Fighter is getting a -3 debuff to his attack and a -5 to his defense. So Elwood is actually able to take this Ignis here, as well as doing enough damage in both hits to take out the Lance Fighter. Exactly the right amount. Now, again, I have to get Kangas away from this guy. So that's why I gave Kangas swap. That allows him to take cover from this guy. Now, obviously, you know, I don't want Rayson to be here, so I'm going to have him dance Elwood and have Elwood buff Kangas. This allows Kangas to retain more than half of his HP with with Xander attacking. And the Sword Fighter here is doing less damage as well, you know, because of the attack speed ruse. And now, because of the threatened defense here, the Sword Fighter is going to be taken out rather quickly, you know, by Lucas. Now that we've gotten this guy, Kangas can actually go ahead and move back into position and allow himself to act as the distance tank. Obviously, I've got to move Lucas out of the way because he would actually get taken out. You know, 17 defense, and this guy's running Wrathful Staff for fun on his gravity. But I can't attack Xander because I'll just move Xander in place here, and none of my team is strong enough to actually take him on. So I'll have him wait here. We're also going to go ahead and have Elwood buff him, Lucas this time. Cleric obviously is going to go ahead and do no damage against Kangas. Now, obviously, Xander's guard is still in play here. But thankfully, we don't have to worry about that now. Because, once again, Xander's been debuffed. This time by the chill attack, as well as the threatened defense. Brings him down to 45, and this actually allows Elwood to do enough damage to take out Xander. And because of Rayson's passive healing ability, Elwood, you know, has enough HP after 2 turns to actually take the, hits. That's one of the reasons why you actually need a 5-star Rayson for this area. Because of the inherent, well, it's not quite Breath of Life, just because, you know, it's at start of turn, which actually mimics what he does in Path of Radiance. Because if you actually, used him, once you got him after, rescuing his sister. He has this ability where, if he's, I believe if he's transformed. If not, transforming just gives him extra range on the healing. But he actually heals when at the start of every turn. In those games too. Thankfully, they buffed the range in this. It gives him, allows him to restore HP to allies within 2 spaces, which is pretty nice. Now let's go ahead and let the healer basically kill itself. And thankfully, with Kangas's Aether, it allows him to basically keep his HP topped off, so Vengeful Fighter keeps, triggering. Anyway, that's Xander's Abyssal Difficulty map cleared. My name is Shinigami Moroku, and I hope you all have a pleasant night.